in the previous class we have studied three important experiments. The first one is coil magnet experiment. We have studied in detail what happens when the magnet is moved towards the coil, or what happens when the coil is moved towards the magnet. Now in that first experiment, we have pushed the north pole of the magnet towards the coil and pulled it back. The same results can be obtained by moving the south pole of the bar magnet towards the coil, but the deflection is showing in the opposite direction. We can take away the south pole of the bar magnet, then also we will observe a momentary deflection in the galvanometer. If you move the south pole very faster, then the deflection in the galvanometer should be the larger one. Now whenever the south pole is moved towards the coil or taken away, we will get the same result as we have got in the case of when north pole is pushed and pulled, but it is in the reverse direction. So that thing we have to include in it. Now today we will study some interesting questions. Now look here, in this experiment, that is second experiment, coil experiment, what would you do to obtain a large deflection of the galvanometer? In order to get a large deflection, that means in order to get a large induced EMF and hence larger current, what we can do in this experiment? That is the first part. And how would you demonstrate the presence of an induced current in the absence of the galvanometer? Now here we have a galvanometer. If I remove the galvanometer, then how would you show that there is an induced EMF or current flowing in that coil C1? Those are the two things that we are going to know. The first part is very simple, as we have earlier said. How can we increase the current in that coil C2 and hence the magnetic field in the coil C2? The first method we have already familiar with that one. If I assume that second coil looks like a solenoid, now take the idea of the solenoid. In the case of a solenoid, how can we increase the magnetic field inside it? By having more number of turns. Number of turns can be increased. This is the one method. If I increase the more number of turns in the coil 2, obviously the magnetic field also increases, as and when it is moved towards the coil C1 or taken away, the flux linked with this first coil C1 also varies, and hence we get more deflection in the galvanometer. This is one method. And second method, now we will take the relation with respect to the solenoid. In the case of a solenoid, we can increase the magnetic field by placing a soft iron core inside the solenoid. Soft iron core is placed inside the coil C2. Now this obviously increases the magnetic field, and hence the magnetic flux linked with the coil C1 also increased. Therefore, the galvanometer shows more and more deflection. That is the second method of increasing the deflection. Now the third method is there. How can you increase that one? Simply use a powerful battery. A battery of higher voltage. Powerful battery. That means higher voltage battery. Obviously, the current is increased. Current is increased in that coil C2. Obviously, the magnetic field is also increases inside the coil C2. No, those magnetic fields are linked with the coil C1, and hence, whenever we get a relative motion between the two coils, obviously the galvanometer shows maximum or more deflection, larger deflection. This is the third method. There is one more method, fourth method. That is physical method. In that, we are pushing the coil C2 and its entire arrangement very fast towards the coil C1, or taken it away very fast, moving C2 very fast towards C1, moving towards, or it is taken away with a higher speed. The entire coil C2 is moved towards the coil C1 with a fast, or it is taken out very fastly. Then also we get the galvanometer shows more and more deflection, that is larger deflection. The meaning is very simple. If these four things are increased, obviously the flux linked with the coil is changes at a higher rate, and hence the EMF induced is also more. A larger current flows through the galvanometer, and hence galvanometer shows a larger deflection. That is part A. Now part A, we are having four options. Now part B. Now what they are saying, I am removing this galvanometer. If the galvanometer is absent, then how can you show that there is an induced EMF or current flowing through that circuit? That is C1. Just very simple. Now here we will place a small bulb, that what we are observing in a torch. That torch bulb, a very small bulb, is placed inside it. It is connected to the circuit. As and when an EMF is induced, a small amount of current is flowing through that bulb. Obviously that bulb glows. The glowing of that bulb indicates the presence of the current flowing in that circuit. If you move faster, bulb glows brightly. If you move slower, bulb glows faintly. So that indicates the induced EMF or current in that circuit. Now we will solve one problem. A square loop of side 10 cm and resistance 0.5 ohm is placed vertically in the east-west plane. A uniform magnetic field of 0.10 Tesla is set up across the plane in the northeast direction. The magnetic field is decreased to 0 in 0.70 seconds at a steady rate. Determine the magnitude of the induced EMF and current during this time interval. Now we have a square loop. Okay, we have a square loop. Its side is given 10 centimeter. Therefore, it is 0.1 meter. Okay. Now it is placed in east-west direction. If I plot the directions, now this is east, west, and north and south. Now this square loop is placed along east-west direction. Now they are applying a uniform magnetic field of 0.1 Tesla across the plane in the northeast direction. That means I am applying the magnetic field. Now this is the north and this one is the east. Therefore, the magnetic field is along this direction. It is northeast direction, magnetic field applied is along this direction. So therefore, this is the magnetic field direction and this is the rectangular loop. Its area vector is perpendicular to the plane of the board and it is into. Then obviously if it is the into, here if I write along like this, now this angle is 45 degree. The angle between the area vector and the field vector is 45 degree because this magnetic field is applied along northeast direction, not north-south. It is northeast direction. Therefore, angle is 45 degree. Therefore, given here, we will list out what are the given things. We have got angle between the magnetic field vector and the area vector is 45 degree. Okay, and square loop of side is given. Now L is 10 centimeter. If I write it in meter, it is 0.1 meter. We want area. Now what is the area? It is L square. Area is equal to L square, 0.1 whole square, 0.01, or I will write it as 1 into 10 raised to minus 2 meter square. 1 into 10 raised to minus 2 meter square. That is the area. A uniform magnetic field of 0.1 Tesla. Now magnetic field is given 0.1 Tesla is applied. And the resistance of this square loop is given. The resistance R is equal to, it is 0.5 ohms resistance is given. Now we have to calculate what is the EMF induced and what is the current flowing through that rectangular loop. Those things we are going to calculate. Now we will first work out flux. Now here, look here, they have given the magnetic field of 0.1 Tesla. It is initially 0.1 Tesla. Then it is suddenly reduced to 0. In what time? 0.7 seconds. Time is also given. Now t is equal to 0.7 seconds. If I take it as delta t, change in time, 0.7 seconds, and change in flux, work out, then we have to calculate induced EMF. Okay. Now initial flux. Initial magnetic flux, I will write it as phi b initial. We know the general formula for magnetic flux, that is BA cos theta. It is the dot product of field vector and the area vector. This it is BA cos theta. We know the values. B is 0.1 and area of cross section, that is 1 into 10 raised to minus 2, 0.1 and 1 into 10 raised to minus 2, and cos theta. Now cos 45 degree. Now what is cos 45 degree? So that is 0.1 into 10 raised to minus 2. Cos 45 is 1 by root 2. Cos 45 is 1 by root 2. Now need not simplify, keep as it is, and its unit is Weber or Tesla meter square. This is the initial flux. Now in 0.7 seconds, that magnetic field is steadily reduced to 0. In the first case, the magnetic field is 0.1 Tesla. In the second case, that is final flux case, magnetic field ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ 0 ಆಗ್ತದೆ. Now for magnetic flux final, that is final magnetic flux is equal to, it is once again the formula BA cos theta. Since the magnetic field is reduced to 0, therefore the flux also becomes 0. Clear? Okay. Now what is the change in flux? I will write it as delta phi. It is the change in flux, that is phi b initial minus phi b final. Now initial is that one, 0.1 into 10 raised to minus 2 divided by root 2 minus 0, or I will write it as 1 into 10 raised to minus 3 divided by root 2, that is Weber. This is the change in flux. Now what is the time taken to change this flux? That is delta t, that is given 0.70 seconds. Now by using Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction, the induced EMF is equal to delta phi by delta t. Induced EMF is equal to delta phi by delta t, d phi by dt, rate of change of magnetic flux. So delta phi, it is 1 into 10 raised to minus 3 divided by root 2 into dt, it is 0.7. We know the value of 1 by root 2. 1 by root 2 is 0.7. 1 by root 2 is 0.7 into 10 raised to minus 3 divided by 0.7. Why this one is? We know the value of 1 by root 2. It is 0.707. For calculation purposes, I am taking it as 0.7. So for 0.7, 0.7 get cancels. Therefore, the induced EMF is 1 into 10 to the power of minus 3. 1 into 10 to the power of minus 3 volts or 1 millivolts. The induced EMF is 1 millivolts in that square loop. Since the square loop is having a resistance of 0.5 ohms, obviously we can calculate what is the current. Therefore, the current is given by E divided by R. Now, E is the EMF induced and R is the resistance of the circular square loop. Now, EMF induced is 1 millivolts divided by resistance is 0.5 ohms, or it is equal to 2 milliamps. 2 into 10 to the power of minus 3 amps or 2 milliamps of current is induced in this problem. Here. Now, one thing, here we have applied an external magnetic field, uniform magnetic field. Because of the earth, Earth's magnetic field is also present. But Earth's magnetic field is uniform. It is not at all changing, it is constant. And hence, there is no EMF induced in that coil due to the Earth's magnetic field. Earth's magnetic field is constant, change ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಗೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ 0.1 ಟೆಸ್ಲಾ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದು ಕಡೆಗೆ ನಾವು 0 ರಿಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ, ಹಾಗೆ ಅರ್ತ್ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ರಿಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. It is constant. Even though there is the presence of Earth's magnetic field, it is not at all varying, and hence no EMF is induced in that coil due to the Earth's magnetic field. Next problem. A circular coil of radius 10 centimeter, 500 tons and resistance 2 ohm is placed with its plane perpendicular to the horizontal component of the Earth's magnetic field. It is rotated about its vertical diameter through 180 degree in 0.25 seconds. Estimate the magnitude of the EMF and current induced in the coil. Given the horizontal component of the Earth's magnetic field, H is equal to 3.0 into 10 raised to minus 5 Tesla. Okay, simple problem. Now here we are having a circular loop. It is placed such that it is perpendicular to the horizontal component of the Earth's magnetic field. This is the initial. Now this loop is rotated about its vertical diameter. Now this is the axis of rotation. This is the axis of rotation and it is rotated through 180 degree. So initial position, if you take it as 0 degree, then it is rotated about its vertical diameter through 180 degree. Then what is the new flux? What is the initial flux and what is the final flux? From that one we have to work out what is the EMF induced and what is the current induced in that circular loop. Now what are the given things? Now given here a circular coil of radius 10 centimeter. Now radius is 10 centimeter or this is equal to 0.1 meter. They have given radius, they have not given the area. Now we have to work out what is the area. Now what is the area of that one? It is pi r square. Since it is circular in shape, it is pi r square. It is pi is 3.14 into r square. It is 0.1 square. R area is 3.14 into 10 raised to minus 2. 3.14 into 10 raised to minus 2 meter square. That is the area of the loop. And the magnetic field is given. Here it is He. because it is the horizontal component. Now the magnetic field B is equal to He, that is the horizontal component. Its value is 0.3 into 10 to the power of minus 5 Tesla. The number of turns in the coil is also given, that is N. Coil is having 500 turns. Resistance of the coil is given. If I take it as capital R, it is 2 ohms. What you are going to work out? What is the EMF induced? What is the current in that coil? Very simple. Now for that one we have to work out what is the initial flux. Now the initial flux phi B initial, that is equal to, we know the formula, it is simply BA cos theta. Now what is theta value here? In the initial stage, the horizontal component of the Earth's magnetic field and the area vector are parallel to each other. Therefore theta is 0. So initial case alli theta value 0 agtane. So substitute the value. B means it is the horizontal component of the Earth's magnetic field, 3 into 10 to the power of minus 5 into area of cross section that we have just calculated. It is 3.14 into 10 to the power of minus 2, and cos 0 is obviously 1. So if you multiply this one, it is 9.42 into 10 to the power of minus 7. 9.42 into 10 to the power of minus 7 Weber. It is the initial flux. Now what happened? Now the coil is rotated about its vertical diameter through how many degrees? 180 degree. For the final case, theta is equal to 180 degree. Therefore, magnetic flux final, that is final magnetic flux, it is once again BA cos theta. Now B horizontal component 3.0 into 10 to the power of minus 5. Area is 3.14 into 10 to the minus 2 into cos 180 is minus of that value. Therefore, we are getting minus of 9.42 into 10 to the power of minus 7 Weber. Final flux. Now we have to calculate. Now the induced EMF is equal to, since it is having a number of turns, N into, it is delta phi by delta T, magnitude of rate of change of flux, that is equal to, N is given, it is 500 into final minus the initial, it is minus 9.42 minus 9.42 into 10 to the power of minus 7 divided by delta T, time is 0.25. Therefore it is equal to 500 into, now neglecting the minus sign, I am getting 18.84 into 10 to minus 7 divided by 0.25. If I work out with the calculator, 500 into 18.84 divided by 0.25 is equal to 37,680 into 10 raised to minus 7, or this one is equal to 3.768 into 10 raised to minus 3 volts, or 3.7 millivolts. Okay. Now we have to calculate what is the current. Now the current here is EMF divided by R. EMF is 3.768 into 10 raised to minus 3 divided by resistance is given 2 ohms. Divided by 2, I will get current is 1.884 into 10 raised to minus 3 amps, or it is 1.884 milliamps. Now this much amount of current is induced in that circular loop. Next problem. Figure shows planar loops of different shapes moving out of or into a region of a magnetic field which is directed normal to the plane of the loop away from the reader. Determine the direction of induced current in each loop using Lenz law. Now they have given three planar loops. One is rectangular, another one is a triangle, and another one is an irregular shaped loop. Now rectangular loop is entering into a magnetic field region, and triangular loop is moving away from the magnetic field region, and irregular shape is also moving away from the magnetic field region. Now the direction of the magnetic field is into the plane. All these planes, it is away from the reader. That means it is into the plane of the board. It is into the plane of the board. Now we have to work out what is the direction of the induced current in these three planes by using Lenz law. For that one, let me take the first case, A, that is first loop, rectangular loop. Now as and when the rectangular loop is moving towards the magnetic field region, what about the number of fields, magnetic field lines passing through this rectangular area? It becomes increasing. Therefore, the rectangular area is moving from a weaker magnetic field region to a stronger magnetic field region. The number of field lines becomes increasing through that one. Therefore, flux is also increasing. Since the flux is varying, the current is induced. Now, what is the direction of the current? That we have to work out. Now, the direction is given by Lenz law. Lenz law states that in the case of an electromagnetic induction, the polarity of the induced EMF is such that it produces a current which opposes the variation in magnetic flux. That we know. Now since this loop is entering inside, the number of field lines ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಹೇಗೆ ಇಂಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಆ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಲೈನ್ಸ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗೋದನ್ನ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಲೈನ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ದ ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಬೋರ್ಡ್. Now current should be such that the magnetic field lines produced by the current, flow of current, it should be coming out of the plane of the board. Therefore, the resultant should be decreasing. Here, since we are moving the coil, the field lines are increasing. The current should be such that it should decrease the magnetic field line. So since the applied field is into, the induced field should be coming out of the plane of the board. Since the field should coming out of the plane of the board, what will be the direction of the current according to your right hand rule? If the current flowing through this coil is in the anti-clockwise direction, the magnetic field is coming out of the plane of the board. That you should remember. Therefore, the current has to flow along A, B, C, D, A path. That is anti-clockwise direction path. Therefore, the magnetic field, due to this induced current, it should be a dot. It should be a dot. The applied field is into, the induced field is coming out. Therefore, the net field should decreases according to Lenz law, and hence the path of the current in that rectangular bin is A, B, C, D, A. Along this path, the current is flowing. Clear? In the similar way, take the second path. Now the triangular shape is moving away. That means it is moving from a stronger field region to the weaker field region. Therefore, the field lines are decreasing. Field lines are decreasing here. Therefore, the current is induced such that it has to increase the number of field lines. because it has to oppose the change in magnetic field or flux. ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಲೈನ್ಸ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಅದನ್ನ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ, ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಅಪೋಸಿಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಇಂದ ಬರೋ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಸಹ ಏನಾಗಿರ್ಬೇಕು, ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ದ ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೇಕು, ಅವಾಗ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಇನ್ ಟು ದ ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ವಾಟ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಕರೆಂಟ್? ದ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಕ್ಲಾಕ್ ವೈಸ್. ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ಲೈಕ್ ದಿಸ್. ಹೀಗೆ ಫ್ಲೋ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಹಾಗಾಯ್ತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ, ಬರೋಂತ ಕರೆಂಟ್, ಇಂಡ್ಯೂಸ್ಡ್ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಸಹ ಏನಾಗಿರ್ತದೆ, ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ದ ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಟ್ರಯಾಂಗ್ಯುಲರ್ ಶೇಪ್. ಟ್ರಯಾಂಗ್ಯುಲರ್ ನ ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಗೆ ಇಂಟು ಆಗಿರ್ತದೆ. ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಹೈಯರ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ರೀಜನ್ ಇಂದ ಲೋವರ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ರೀಜನ್ ಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಉಂಟು. ಬಟ್ ಇಂಡ್ಯೂಸ್ಡ್ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಡಿಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಇಂಡ್ಯೂಸ್ಡ್ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಆ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಅನ್ನ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. Therefore, for the second case, the path of the current is along A, C, B, A in that direction. Clear? Similarly, for the third loop, you can work it out. Now the third loop is moving away from the field region. That means higher field region in the lower field region ಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. Magnetic field lines decrease ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. But according to Lenz's law, current ಹೇಗಿರ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಡಿಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರೋ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಲೈನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಅಪೋಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ದಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಶುಡ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ದ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಲೈನ್ಸ್. ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಲೈನ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗಬೇಕು, ದ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ಸಚ್ ದಟ್ ದ field due to that current, it should be into the plane of the board. So into the plane of the board andre once again right hand rule anna apply madkondre, now here the direction of current is along this way. It is along this way. ಹಾಗೆ ಮೂವ್ ಆಯ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಸಹ ಇಂಟು ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಅವಾಗ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ, ಆಬ್ವಿಯಸ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತದೆ. ಫಾರ್ ದಿ ಥರ್ಡ್ ಇರೆಗ್ಯುಲರ್ ಶೇಪ್, the path is A, B, C, D, A, so that it has to increase the field. So like this we will work out what is the direction of the current whenever different shapes are moving out of or into a magnetic field region by using Lenz's law. Next problem. A closed loop is held stationary in the magnetic field between the north and south pole of two permanent magnets held fixed. Can you hope to generate the current in the loop by using very strong magnets? Now here we have a strong magnets. Two magnets they have given like this. Now this is the north and this one is the south. Now between them a coil is held. Loop. A loop is held. Now can we expect now this is the loop, it is held between two magnets. Can you hope to generate current in the loop by using very strong magnets? Now here loop is stationary. The magnets are also stationary. There is no relative motion between the two. Can you expect any current? No, it is highly impossible. If there is a relative motion between the two, that is the coil and the magnet, then there is a variation of the magnetic field linked with the coil and that induces the current. Now in this case, the magnets are stationary and the coil is also stationary. Therefore, the induced EMF or the current is zero. There is no current is induced. However, may be the strong magnet. If you increase the magnetic field, magnets stronger, if you use stronger and stronger magnets, bigger and bigger magnets, and increasing the magnetic field, without any relative motion, there is no EMF or current induced. So, answer for the first one is no. It is not possible to induce the current without any relative motion, however maybe the strong magnetic fields. Now the second one, a closed loop moves normal to the constant electric field. between the plates of a large capacitor. We have a capacitor, large capacitor, parallel plate capacitor. Between the two plates, we know that which field is existed. It is a constant or uniform electric field is existed. Electric field, it is not the magnetic field, remember. A closed loop moves normal to the constant electric field. Now, since the field is here, I have a closed loop. If I take a ring like this, now it is moving towards in this region. When it is wholly inside the region, if this entire ring is wholly inside, whether the EMF is induced. When it is partially outside the plates of the capacitor, like this, it is partially outside the plates of the capacitor. Is there any EMF or current is induced in this case? Now look here, since there is no magnetic field, here we are having only electric field. That electric field is also constant, we have underlined it. In the electric field, if you move a loop, there is no induction of current or EMF. What we are required? We have required the magnetic field. If you have a magnetic field, then only possible. And also they have mentioned constant. If this electric field is varying, in the later chapters we will study a varying electric field produces a varying magnetic field, and varying magnetic field produces varying electric field. That we will study in the later chapters. But here it is, the electric field is also a constant. Therefore, we require a magnetic field, then only the current is induced. Therefore, the answer for the second one is also, it is no. It is not possible to induce the current or the EMF, because here they have given a constant electric field. So problem C, a rectangular loop and a circular loop are moving out of a uniform magnetic field region to a field free region with a constant velocity. Both are moving with a constant velocity. In which loop do you expect the induced EMF to be constant? The EMF is to be constant. During the passage out of the field region, the field is normal to the plane of the board. Now they have given a rectangular loop, here we have a circular loop. Both are moving away. Okay? And the magnetic field is into the plane of the board. Since both are moving away, obviously the EMF is induced in both the coils. In the rectangular loop also, the EMF and current is induced, and in the circular loop also, EMF and current is induced. But what they have asked, in which loop the induced EMF is to be constant. Constant EMF induced agಬೇಕು ಯಾವುದರಲ್ಲಿ? Now look here, as and when the rectangular loop is moving away from the field region to a field free region. Now as it moves, the area of cross section in this rectangular shape is equal. Therefore, the change in area of cross section is equal because it is moving with a constant velocity. So area of cross section, now first this portion is moving away. Next, this portion is moving away with a constant speed. The area of cross section in each case is constant here. Since the area of cross section is constant, the EMF induced in this rectangular loop is also constant. We can expect a constant EMF induced in this rectangular loop. Now look at this diagram. In the case of a circular loop, as and when it moves away from the field region, the area of cross section is not constant. It goes on varying because of its shape. Now initially this portion of the area of cross section is moving away. Then now this portion Now area of cross section is not constant. Area of cross section is goes on increasing here. Since area of cross section is goes on increasing, the induced EMF or the current is not at all constant. It is a varying. Understood? I have understood this concept. The area of cross section here, it is, since it is moving away, the area of cross section becomes larger and larger and larger and larger. But here is not that case. Here the area of cross section each case is constant. Therefore, in the rectangular loop, we expect a constant induced EMF, but in the circular loop, we cannot expect a constant induced EMF or the current. And the last problem, predict the polarity of the capacitor in the situation described by the figure. Now here, they have placed a parallel plate capacitor with plates A and B with a circular loop connecting the two plates. Now this capacitor is placed between two bar magnets. So one magnet's north pole is facing and another magnet's south pole is facing. Now here the two bar magnets are moving towards the loop. The two bar magnets are also moving towards the loop. Then obviously the current is induced and that current is going to charge the capacitor. Then what is the polarity of the capacitor? That we will work out. Now look at the first case. Whenever this north pole of this magnet is moving towards the coil, north pole is moving towards. According to Lenz's law, what will happen? The current is induced in it. The current is, whether it is clockwise or anti-clockwise, that you have to work, that you have to look into it. Now here they have marked like this. That means the loop is placed along this direction. Okay. Now since this north pole is moving, now this portion of the loop, it has to behave as a north pole. It has to behave as a north pole. Now loop is like this, circular loop. Now this is circular loop. If I assume this is the circular loop, assume this one. The circular loop is placed like this. Now I am moving the magnet here. Okay. Now this indicates that this loop, this portion is farther side. Now this portion is front side. Now in this loop, now this portion is farther side. Now this portion is front side like this. Now as and when the north pole is moving, this loop has to behave like a north pole. It has to behave like a north pole according to Lenz's law. It has to oppose the movement of the north pole. Since it has to behave like a north pole, what is the direction of the current? It should be anti-clockwise. It should be anti-clockwise as seen from the left side magnet. Left side magnet in the current ಏನಾಗಿರಬೇಕು anti-clockwise direction ಇರಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಈ ಪೋರ್ಷನ್ ಹೊರಗಡೆಗಿದೆ, ಈ ಪೋರ್ಷನ್ ಒಳಭಾಗದಲ್ಲಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಈ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಸೊ ನನಗೆ ಆಂಟಿ ಕ್ಲಾಕ್ ವೈಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ therefore it's look like the current is flowing from B to A. It is moving from B to A. Similarly, the second magnet is south pole. Second magnet south pole is moving towards the coil. Then since the south pole is moving, now this side of the coil, that side of the face of the coil has to behave like a south pole. Therefore current should be in the clockwise direction for this one. If I stand here, if I look at this one, the current should be in the clockwise direction. If I stand here, the current should be in the anti-clockwise direction. If I stand here, the current in the loop should be in the clockwise direction. So therefore, the current is flowing in the same direction when both the magnets are moved towards the loop. Therefore, the capacitor is going to get charged. The current is flowing from B to A. That meaning is A is having more polarity, positive polarity than B. Therefore, A will be has a positive polarity and B will be having a negative polarity. Like this, we will work out the problems.